Listen, there is just something about some dreams that you have that will have your whole day thrown off and just shaken completely up. Well, welcome to Just So You Know. I am your host, Alethea Jenkins. Welcome to my channel. To all of you oldies, some of y'all goodies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys about this dream that I had. Now, let me say this. This is a PSA. I really don't share dreams publicly that often. And I definitely don't share them at all often because, there are people that got different takes on dreams or if there are any meaning to dreams. But I'm one of those people that I ascribe meanings to dreams because they're not just happening for no reason. I get it that sometimes you could just have eaten too many tacos or something that has disagreed with your belly parts. But many times, most times, doggone near every time, your dream is alluding to something and it means something, and you got to take that seriously. So, that's going to be our conversation for today. But before I get into all of that, let me tell you what I do on this channel. I encourage women to take accountability for their actions, and I clear up a lot of the blurred lines that society throws at us because Lord knows today we need some truth in this world.
You can't handle the truth.
So, of course, when they say, "Who gonna tell the truth?" I said, "I'm gonna tell the truth. I'll tell it." Raised up my little hand. So, enough of that. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about the fact that there is so much going on between men and women. And I know if you are in any, or should I say, if you're anywhere in the vicinity of Earth, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, let's talk about what I'm talking about. There is such a growing disrespect, disregard, just constant infighting, blame, and just lack of just the common sense among men and women that are going on today. Now, I realize that a lot of this is for our entertainment purposes. However, we do not understand that the words that are coming out of our mouth are so powerful. And what we're saying is speaking volumes in our community. So, I really want to talk all about this dream that I had, and I want to tell you about it, some snippets, because I can't go all the way down into my dream. Because if you know anything about dreams, you understand that there's a lot of symbolism in dreams. It's kind of like a spiritual matter, right? So if you have a dream and you're eating this big old whopper, the size of your car, okay, that symbolizes something, right? And it's not necessarily what the books say, because there are a lot of books out there that tells you what your dream means. But I am one that tends to believe that the dream is symbolic of something that means something to you or has something to do with what you understand. Not necessarily somebody done told you if you dream of fish, it's gonna be pregnancy, but if it means that to you, it is quite possible that that is what the dream is alluding to. So, this has actually been maybe a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, because I took some time to really just chew on this thing. Like, what is this? Right? So I'm a big dreamer. I dream pretty well every single night. And don't give me that frackle like a bull about you don't dream. You just don't remember your dreams, but you dream. And there is a deeper understanding that I have about the dream world. However, for now, we're just going to say that I believe that dreams are of a spiritual nature and it is natural for us to dream. It is interesting that a lot of people don't remember their dreams and say, well, you know what? I really don't dream. It's just simply not true. But it is a natural part of life that you dream. But I think that what we have gotten into a habit of doing, most of us, is casting our dreams aside and saying, well, you know what? That wasn't about nothing. I ate tacos last night. Okay. But did you eat tacos every night that you dreamt? Especially if you are a dreamer like me. Anyway, get to the point, Alethea. The point is, I had this dream that all of the men had pretty well turned on the women. And I'm not going to say all of them because there were still some men, and you'll figure that out through what I'm saying in the dream. I'm going to put it like this: there were a lot of men that just completely turned on women. And for whatever reason, in the vicinity of the world that I was in at that point in time, you could not be caught on the street as a woman by yourself, because there were all types of heinous things that could be done to you if you were out on the streets, especially at night. Now, this could happen in the daytime, but especially at night. I mean, the men would gang up on you, take you, kidnap you, do things to you, that type situation. And for whatever reason, I understood what the rules were without even having to be told. It seemed and appeared that all the women knew what the rules were without being told. Now, in this dream, we were traveling by car, by scooter, by bike, all different modes of vehicles. But if you were caught by yourself without a man, you had some issues. And I can remember that it appeared that the rules were that it didn't have to necessarily be your husband, but you had to be with a man. Like a man had to speak for you. And not only did you have to be with a man, it didn't even matter that two or three women were with one man. Just as long as there was a man that was speaking up for you and saying, yeah, they are with me. And I can remember being on a few excursions in that dream where I was um, trying to travel somewhere, and nightfall would catch me, and I would be off in the bushes. I would be looking out because I understood the rules. And there are some other things, sidebar things that happen. I could see some other women getting taken, right? Being hauled off and dragged off in cars and carrying on. Some foolishness, right? Where was the police, y'all? Where was the police? But anyway, it didn't appear that we had no cellular communications going on. And I can remember nightfall came upon me, and there was a gang of men that were kind of hot on my trail. And so I remember somehow I knew that there was a house that a man that I knew of sorts, or I knew to some extent, but I knew a man lived there. So they were hot on my trail. So I went up to the door, and I was knocking on the door, and I said, please let me in. They're behind me. They're gonna get me. You know. So he said, well, come on in. And so with them being on my trail, I can remember them coming to the house, looking in the windows. Because initially when I got in the house, I hid up under the bed. I hid up under the bed, and the man was like, you good, come on out, come on out. I'm like, no, they gonna see me. Well, somehow they looked in the window because all the windows were open. Or should I say, they didn't have curtains or blinds. They just had a screen. And so when they looked in the women, and other women were there with this man, with this one man. It seemed to be at least two or three other women there. And so they knocked on the door like a group of thugs. Boom, boom, boom. Come to the door. He goes to the door because of course we can't go to the door. He's like, yeah, what's going on? Yeah, we see, and they saw me up under the bed. Yeah, we see, Alethea here. He said, she with me. And they like, well, if she with you, she need to come out from up under that bed. She need to be up under you, as though we were like concubines or something to that extent. He was like, no, she good. She good. Well, we need to see. This is what they reiterated. We need to see her with you if she's with you. So I come out of the bed and I had to join the other women. Like I said, like his concubines. So I'm gonna stop right there. This and the dream went on, y'all, and on and on and on. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this has been a reoccurring dream, which made it even more scary the last time I dreamt it. Y'all listen, this seemed to me to be a warning. And I see what's happening in social media and just in media, just in general. There is a pitting us against each other, not just black and white, but especially in the black community. The pitting of black women against black men is at an all-time high. It's at to a point to where I do believe that it's reaching a critical mass. And I'm going to say this. I don't think we've thought this all the way through. Not so much in my age group. Not so much the yeah it is. Yeah it is. But I think that it's more common amongst millennials and Generation Z. They're not too quick to jump into running into marriage and all that kind of stuff. They are, they're like the survival of the fittest. And this is my warning for the fact that the warning came to me. I think it needs to come through me. There is something to be said about protection, the provision. I almost couldn't get that out. Protection, the provision, and the vulnerability that happens when you don't have those two things that I just mentioned. There's something that happens with a woman being vulnerable. Now, Alethea, well, I don't have a husband. Okay, well, you got a father, a brother, a friend, a uncle, a cousin, or somebody. Somebody just dropped you on the planet Earth and you just don't have nobody you connected to. A co-worker, it don't matter, right? And I want us to start thinking about what we're doing, what we are really doing. I get it that all of these things like the balloon pop show and all that, the ultimatum and all those different shows that are happening all around us. I get it that it is entertainment and entertaining. However, we gotta start thinking as women, what are we really doing? Because we are setting ourselves up to be left uncovered and unprovided for by the disrespect that is happening towards men. And I know what you're going to say, but Alethea, they disrespecting us. Yeah, but it take two to tango. You got to understand that just like there is a God in the heavens, there is a dark energy as well. And the dark energy is the method has always been to divide and to conquer. And I want you to think about that. I want you to go back and into your mind's eye and think about, okay, yeah, I'm getting on social media and I'm getting all these likes because people amen and they are, praising me for what I'm saying because they are in agreement. But what is what I'm saying suggesting?
I'm gonna just be real with you. You owe it to the person you're with to give him your very best self. You understand? Your husband, whether he tells you this or not, he wants to be able to lift you if there's a fire. Now I know this is uncomfortable. But I'm telling you what I know. Your husband wants to be able, if something were to happen to you, he wants to know that he could lift you and those kids out. And if that man can't protect you physically, he may not ever share this with you, but he feels some kind of way about that.
A lot of the times, women think that protection is just physical, but protection is everything that's not physical. It's only probably 5% physical, because how many times do they even find themselves in an altercation involving physicality, right? So let's look at it like that. But a man's presence naturally can prevent a physical altercation, because if a man thought about harming a woman and he found out she has a man in her life, a brother, a father, a boyfriend, a husband, a son, his intentions change. So I don't want to go through that, because why? Because you're going to be held accountable. You understand what I'm saying? So when they say, oh, we need protection from what, they don't understand that there's certain boundaries that they don't even set that get violated on the day-to-day. You go get an oil change, they telling you double the price. You need brakes, they telling you more. You need to do this. You can't even walk in a store without a man messing with you. Now I know that's just one point. Now let's go to the other side.
Okay, hard truth. Many women out there claim that they want to be protected, but they really don't want to be protected. Let me explain. You want a man to be able to fight for you in the event that you are in harm's way, which I agree with. But you don't want a man to protect you in the sense that he is requesting you not to wear certain things, because he knows that that will prevent the need to have to physically protect you in many cases. And then some of you women be like, that's misogynistic, you're controlling, you're putting restrictions on me. What do you really want? What do you really want? Do you want a man to protect you or not? Because him preventing you from being put in situations is also a form of protection as well. That's love. So if you really want to be protected, receive all of it.
So, what am I asking you to do? I am asking you to reconsider the role of the men in your life and the men on the periphery of your life, those that you just come in contact with on a normal, everyday basis. Everyday basis. I'm about to get ahead of myself because I'm thinking while I'm saying what I'm saying. Now, I'm going to tell you, a lot of women might say, Alethea, like you heard in the clip, what are they protecting us from? You know, if you are in the vicinity of this earth, you understand that there are going to always be people that do not have a moral compass. Yes, there are absolutely some wonderful men out there. And if you hadn't found or one hadn't found you, then I'm so sorry about that. But they are out there. But you're going to always have those group of men that do not have a moral compass. It ain't all of them, but there are some out there. And I'm going to say this, I learned that um, with office politics. You know, there are some people that get into management, and I'm going to just say this as an example. There are some people that get into management and they can really just change the trajectory of your whole career in a good way. You know, you see their leadership skills, you aspire to climb to where they are. You see them treating people wonderful. You see them helping people to grow. But then you have those group of managers, and it is a lot of these people that are in the corporate environment or in organizations that they've basically sold their soul. That it becomes a us and them, and they don't really care about people, or they don't care about them, but to a certain degree that it benefits them. You understand what I'm saying? So this is likened to what I am talking about with this situation, reconsidering the role of men. You got to consider that number one, if something was to jump off and you're saying, oh, well, I'll just call the police. Well, yes, there are women on the police force. What if they had a pact? They had an unspoken pact that this is the way things was going to be. Do you know, as a black person, how much black men go through and black women? Yes, but how much they go through when they leave the comforts of their home? How many things it's that happen that is not the general rule or thumb, but the practice that is happening supersedes what the rule is. Do you really do you understand that? Yeah, we know what the Constitution say, but who go by it? You understand what I'm saying? People don't practice that on a regular basis. They should. But should don't do you any good when you are in a pickle, right? And so I just want you to think about it, the fact that a lot of these women that were getting taken and kidnapped and getting stuff done to them in my dream, these were women who were standing on the side of the feminist, and they were saying that they were independent women. I make my own money. You know what I'm saying? I got the bag, baby. What do you mean? What do you mean you're telling me what to do? You're not telling me what to do. Me? You're not telling Oh, check me, boo. That woman. Not the woman that says, "Okay, I have a place. However, we can all sing together. We can all do a lot of things together, but we cannot all lead. Somebody has to lead." Again, let's take it back to the organizations. You got to understand that there has to be a figurehead for the organization. Everybody can't say, "Okay, we all in charge." That's not how things go. Now, am I giving men a pass to be abusive? No. Is it right for men to um take their power and just go bat crap crazy? No. None of that. Should you have a voice? Should you have an opinion? Absolutely. But you better know your role. You better know your doggone place. Because at the end of the day, if something jumps off, are you prepared for it? That protection, I believe, comes from God. So think about how a marriage ceremony goes. You got all the bridesmaids and you got the families that are sitting on the left and the right side, because usually there is an aisle of sorts. And I think that that's symbolic of two families, and at the end you become one, right? So you got all the bridesmaids and the junior bridesmaids and the flower girl that comes down, and then the woman is brought down the aisle with her father, because you should never be without a covering. Okay, what if my daddy died? Okay, then there's God the Father, right? But I'm pretty sure there's someone that is probably taking up residence in that role in your life. And if there's not, then there's always God, right? But typically, that father or that father figure or that standing in the stead of the father is walking that woman down the aisle. And something to the degree in the old school is going to be said: who gives this woman to be married to this man? Who's transferring this woman from one place to the other, because she always needs protection? It is so important. And the leadership of a man says that I have a head. I'm the body, but I have a head. Just like if somebody cut your physical head off, you pretty much done for, because you cannot have a body without a freaking head. And that's us. We want to be the body and the head. We cannot do it. Was not meant to be that way in the family. Now, has it worked that way? Yes, we've done what we've had to do. I did it. Were my children unbalanced because the father was not in the home? He was in their lives, but they still wind up with some deficits that they had to correct in their adulthood because there was no father in the home. And I think the problem that we have is not so much that we don't know our role, but we don't want to play it. And we don't want the men to say it to us because we believe that they don't understand that what we have to go through. Yes, we have to go through a lot. And so do they. But I just think that everybody needs to understand their position and play it. And the guidance that comes along with having that man in the home and him in leadership says that sometimes we need saving from ourselves. And I think I said this on another show. Listen, sometimes I get sick of myself, and sometimes I don't know. I consider myself to be an intelligent woman. I got more degrees than a thermometer, but I still need a sounding board. Well, Alethea, he don't know what he be talking about, but he knows something because he has another point of view. Now, I'm not telling you to allow the blind to lead the blind, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm making a general statement to use some common sense with things that you don't know everything. There is so much value in the feminine opinion and the comments and whatever that we add to any conversation, but it is equally as important the male perspective and things that that a masculine man brings to the table. I believe that it is ordained by God to create balance in the home and in the world. And what if what I dreamt actually happened today? Would you be ready?
One of the best places in the world to find out what the protection of men looks like versus when they take it away. Iraq was more progressive than the United States back in 56. You can look it up. They were actually more progressive when it came to women's rights. Until Shiites, I think, took over. And literally within seconds, it went back. They were wearing burqas because there was no protection from the men. Right now, if men didn't protect women, y'all could walk out in this street and get raped. No one could stop it. Who's going to stop it? Men keep other men in check. That's why it's sad that women talk so low to men when literally women wouldn't have anything if men decided we're not going to give it to you.
Damn.
And allow men lower themselves to raise women up. Because if a man decided that he wanted to just continue to oppress you, what could you do to stop it? If men collectively said, we're going to continue to raise women, we're going to continue to keep women in the house and barefoot and pregnant, what could women do to stop it?
Nothing.
Thank you, dear.
That's facts.
So, what am I saying to you? I think it's time for us to stop feeding the gender wars and begin to build our alliances with men again. And it's not going to happen overnight. And I do realize that this thing has taken off pretty big and it's pretty popular that we're watching things like the balloon pop show. And I know you've seen it, it's all over every media outlet. But what I'm telling you is that it's setting us up for failure. And nobody's thinking any deeper than how many views you're getting and how many likes you're getting. Now, this dream that I just told you a little snippet about, there were some other things that I just decided not to share, but they weren't good. This dream showed a future with proud women, independent women, women who got the bag, gorgeous women. You got your BBL, your lashes, you got it going on. But there was nothing that you could do against these men. And you flat out didn't survive. So I'm telling you that there is value in the respect that you have for your counterpart, which the male version is another side of us. There's a blessing in it, for sure. And so how do you do that? I mean, start by telling the man thank you if he opened the door for you. Start by saying good morning. Start by not fueling the fire. Create a platform that uplifts to some extent. Or if you can't help them, doggone it, don't hurt them. Don't pour gasoline on something that's already lit. Right? And I mean, that's small. That won't cost you nothing. That's for free. And I think that will go a long way. Decency goes a long way, you guys. And that's all I got to say. I pray that you have had some type of experience with the information that I have given you. And not only just an experience, but it is a call to action for women. All shapes, sizes, colors, but definitely to Black women. Is this going to be one day, a thing that we say, I'll do it one day? Or is this going to be day one? Y'all know that's one of my favorite sayings. But that's it for today, you guys. I hope that you have gotten something out of this show today. And if you have, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you in my community. And thank you for those who have already subscribed. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. But y'all know I'm just telling you this so you know. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys back real soon. Bye for now.